A hotel guest who isn't checking in.
He's very violent and instills fear in his victims.
How SeaTac Police hope to put an end to a bold and brutal robbery spree. Fun in the sun at a Pierce County park shattered by gunfire.
And pushed him out the way behind the ice cream truck, and then I got shot in my arm. 2
victims of a mass shooting share the traumatic moments they survived. A sinister scheme with the Seattle neighborhood in its grip.
These criminals did the worst kind of damage to our community.
How police and the DEA are digging deeper into a predatory drug ring. Tonight in the Spotlight.
The Spotlight brought to you by Beacon Plumbing.
Security cameras capture an armed robbery suspect on a crime spree. This holdup in SeaTac, one of 4 incidents in 20 days. And police say he doesn't seem to care that he was caught on video. Good evening and welcome to the Spotlight. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm David Rose. SeaTac Police need your help to identify this guy who is getting more confident with every crime. Watch as he threatens a hotel clerk at just after 4 a.m. on May 18th.
The video shows a male walking into a local hotel here in SeaTac and starting a conversation with the clerk, and then he turns around, pulls a gun out of what appears to be his waistband, points it directly at the clerk, and essentially says, "Give me all of your money or I'm gonna kill you."
Well, he took off with the cash, but it wasn't long before he robbed again. He hit in Seattle and in Burien, and also burglarized a home in Shoreline.
He's very violent and instills fear in his victims. He's quick to pull out his gun and point it at the victim and threaten them. In the burglary that happened in Shoreline, he also knocked on the door, didn't receive an answer, rang the doorbell, and then he ended up forcing his way into the residence and kicking the door down. He is very confident in what he's doing. He goes into these places without wearing any face masks or anything like that. So I believe that he's not afraid to get caught. And so somebody knows who he is, and we want to catch him because we won't tolerate it.
Well, fortunately, SeaTac Police have really good photos of his face. So if you know his name, Crime Stoppers will pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000, and you will remain anonymous. Text the information through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call 1-800-222-TIPS. Lakewood police are searching for suspects in a mass shooting at Harry Todd Park. This cell phone video capturing some of the frantic moments back on April 29th. The shooting put 7 people in the hospital. Now, 2 of the victims who were shot are describing that terrifying day and their message for whoever pulled the trigger. The Spotlight's Nia Wong spoke with both victims who say they've been to that park many times and never expected this to happen in such a family-friendly spot.
More than 100 people flocked to Harry Todd Park in Lakewood, including 19-year-old Jaden Larson.
It was the first sunny day. I mean, everybody sees a sunny day. It was like, let's go to the lake.
Larson says he was in line waiting for ice cream when he heard gunshots.
The girl and then the kid that was in front of me, I pushed him out the way behind the ice cream truck, and then I got shot in my arm.
He says he could be out of work for up to a year due to his injuries.
They found out that there's more bones broken in my elbow. Like my elbow exploded, so they got to do another surgery.
Larson was among several other victims in this mass shooting that police believe started as a fight between 2 groups. It's something Amber Ross remembers seeing. She says her 13-year-old daughter noticed and told her about her suspicions seconds before guns were fired.
That was just her gut instinct saying it, and she luckily was able to get into the car. My youngest daughter was not struck, although in my arms.
Bullets went through each of Ross's legs.
Me just laying there having to think of my kids, and they were right here in front of me. There was also a second round of gunfire that had happened as I was on the ground.
The mother of 3 says no bones or arteries were hit and credits the kindness of a stranger and her 13-year-old daughter for jumping into action.
From what the officers said when they did get to me, if it wasn't for them putting the tourniquets on my legs, I probably wouldn't have made it.
Ross will also be out of work for an unknown amount of time.
I'm doing what I can, but good grief, I'm trying to walk and just tough through it.
Though in pain, Ross says she is praying for everyone who was at the shooting, including for those who caused the chaos.
What they're doing is just not okay. I mean, I feel like they need to be caught, they need to be sat down, and they need to turn their life over to the Lord and turn against the wicked ways and change their life completely.
For the Spotlight, I'm Nia Wong.
If you have any information on who was involved in that shooting, contact Lakewood Police or submit a tip to Crime Stoppers. Both Amber and Jaden have mounting medical bills and families to support. We put a link to their GoFundMe pages in the online version of the story on fox13seattle.com, and you can find that in the Spotlight section. Just click on the More tab on the homepage. Two homeowners in Burien are now getting help from the community following this wild scene on Memorial Day. A car was hoisted into the air by a crane after it plowed all the way through one home and hit another. One of those homeowners gave us a tour of the damage days after the crash. Mark Kolesh says the car was airborne when it sailed into his house, flying so high it cleared much of his furniture.
Didn't hit the floor. I mean, there's no tire marks on the floor or anything. Like, it's just crazy. Like Dukes of Hazzard, like, you know, to the extreme.
Mark tells us the car blasted through 2 exterior walls and 3 interior walls before it smashed into his neighbor's house.
The guy still had enough force to he crushed the water tank and their washer and dryer. The whole corner of his house is gone.
Well, the driver of that car, Gerardo Castro, was arrested on charges of DUI and reckless driving and released from jail the next day. As for the homeowners, separate online fundraisers have been set up to help them recover from all this damage. Mark says his neighbor doesn't have anywhere to stay. You can find those links by heading to the Spotlight section on fox13seattle.com. Seattle police have released body cam video of a dramatic foot chase in the Belltown neighborhood. It all started when police say they spotted a man selling drugs.
No, don't do that. Come here. Come here. Come here. Southbound. Stop now! Stop! Seattle police, stop! Now!
The suspect took off running and officers chased him for blocks. During the pursuit, police say he pulled out a gun. Police tried to get him to put it down, but he refused. That's when one officer fired his gun. He did not hit the suspect, though, or anyone else.
DeMarco! DeMarco!
The officer who fired his gun was placed on standard administrative leave during the investigation. The suspect, DeMarco Black, is charged with 2 counts of second-degree assault and first-degree unlawful possession of a firearm. He's being held on $300,000 bail. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office cold case unit is highlighting a handful of cases that remain unsolved. Detectives say even the smallest detail could be the key to finding justice for the victims and their families. They're asking for your help in these 5 cases.
On May 2nd, 2001, Michelle Dickerman was reported missing. Detectives say she was last seen a few days earlier near the Fred Meyer in Lacey on April 28th. 24 years later, she's still listed as a missing person, and the circumstances surrounding her disappearance are considered suspicious. November 9th, 2013, the remains of Jennifer Vaughter Patterson were found on the Nisqually Indian Reservation. It took advanced DNA testing for detectives to identify her. She'd been living in the Lamar Mobile Home Park in Yelm prior to her death, which detectives believe was caused by homicidal violence. January 22nd, 2007, Karen Bodine was found dead just north of Rochester, her naked body dumped at the entrance of a gravel pit. Karen's oldest daughter, Carly, spoke with us in January of this year.
To know that it's been 18 years later and there's still the killer or killers out there, it's really hard. They could be in line behind you at Safeway getting milk. They could be at the gas pump behind you. Like, you never know. Like, there's a killer walking around, and that's not okay.
Carly and her siblings keep Karen's memory alive through candlelight vigils every year and remain hopeful for an arrest.
Someone knows something, and they're just not giving it up, and that's not okay. And we're here to tell you that we're going to get you. The end.
May 2016, Logan Schindelman vanished without a trace at the age of 19. He was last seen driving his black 1996 Chrysler Sebring convertible on I-5 near Tumwater. Logan's uncle spoke with us in the days following the disappearance.
He's just sort of an all-around good kid. I do know that, like Thursday morning on the 19th, his family members saw him there at the house. He has not been seen since.
Logan's car turned up on I-5 on May 20th, 2016. Witnesses say the car drifted across several lanes and hit a barrier before someone got out and ran into the woods.
Witnesses who called it in, seeing the car hit the barrier, have seen a picture of the person jumping out and they say that that's not Logan.
Logan would be 28 years old now, and his loved ones are desperate for any information that could help bring him home. August 7th, 2021, Dan Presley was found murdered inside his home in Tumwater. He was the owner of Hollywood Premier Towing, well known in Thurston County as someone willing to lend a hand, even waiving or discounting the charge for those in need.
If you're down on your luck, he would be there day or night, regardless.
I spoke with Dan's sister several months after the murder. She was the one who discovered her brother's body when she went to his home to check on him and saw a broken window.
I walked up to the window. Somebody had shot him through the window at close range at his head while he was sleeping.
Detectives believe Dan had been dead for several days before he was found and say this appears to be a targeted attack.
The email address for the Thurston County Cold Case Unit is right there on your screen. If you know something about any of these 5 cases, no matter how small it may seem, please come forward. And to read more about each case, go to fox13seattle.com and look for this story under the Spotlight tab. Back in 2023, Monica Hawley was severely injured by a hit-and-run driver while she was out riding her motorcycle in Auburn. She spent weeks in the hospital, requiring multiple surgeries and extensive physical therapy. On her long road to recovery, Washington State Patrol detectives never stopped pursuing this case. And after almost 2 years, they arrested a suspect. The Spotlight's Jennifer Dowling reports it is a welcome development in Monica's story of healing.
It's definitely been a tough journey so far.
Monica Hawley still has serious physical challenges. But she's back in the driver's seat once again. Taking to the road after a truck driver nearly took her life in June of 2023 near Highway 18 and C Street Southwest after swerving into her lane and hitting her, leaving her for dead until Raul Rodriguez came along.
I called my guardian angel. He stopped and took off his belt and used it as a tourniquet.
We captured their reunion back in 2023.
Without him, definitely grateful for him.
The Washington State Patrol said after a 2-year investigation, they arrested this man, Gilbert Foster. He was picked up and booked for felony hit and run.
He did realize he hit me, decided to continue driving and ended up dumping the vehicle.
Friends who are part of the Lead of Seattle, a women's motorcycle collective, have ridden alongside her on this journey.
Monica's a rock star. Just going through the things that she's been through, being able to watch her kind of come full circle and be able to ride again has been very empowering for all of us.
While the wheels of justice turn slowly, Hawley has made some changes.
I did add some cams to it.
She modified her own bike to keep moving forward with a positive attitude that's marked much of her road to recovery.
I decided if I was going to bring the bike back, I was going to bring it back better than it was before.
For the Spotlight, I'm Jennifer Dowling.
Well, tonight, 53-year-old Scott Bailey is in the Pierce County Jail after prosecutors say he doused his girlfriend in gasoline and pointed a sawed-off shotgun at her. Body cam video shows the moment deputies found the victim deep in the woods in Spanaway.
Can you take some deep breaths, or?
I can't because I'm covered in gasoline.
Deputies were called to this camp near Canyon Road East back on May 26th. They called in a canine knowing they had to find her boyfriend since he was armed and dangerous. After half an hour of searching through thick woods and rough terrain, canine Clark found Bailey hiding in a creek.
Atta boys, get that bad man! Get that bad man! Show me your hand!
The prosecutors have charged Bailey with assault, felony harassment, and unlawful possession of a firearm. He already has convictions for robbery and assault. Bailey is being held on $125,000 bail. And the sheriff's office shared the video with a reminder. If you or a loved one is involved in a domestic violence relationship, there is help available. You can contact the Crystal Judson Family Justice Center at 253-798-4166.
And in this case, we targeted offenders who used both to prey on some of our most vulnerable communities. They dealt in death in the form of drugs and guns.
11 people are now in custody as part of a major drug trafficking case. Local and federal authorities say they were running a drug ring in Seattle's Chinatown International District. The Spotlight's Alejandra Guzman tells us how this investigation led narcotics detectives further and further from Seattle to the source of the deadly drugs.
These criminals did the worst kind of damage to our community.
The Chinatown International District is one of the oldest neighborhoods. It's been on the mend. parks and bus stops have been closed, calls for more police presence and overall cleanup. But for the last 18 months, 14 people are said to have preyed and targeted those experiencing homelessness and suffering from drug addiction, trafficking and selling meth, cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin, all while being violent or threatening of violence, according to the FBI.
This is the big hit for our team.
It's the second round of arrests in the jungle after 5 men were arrested for drugs and guns in January. But the problems persisted.
We followed this case outside of Seattle and Washington State into Oregon and California as the drug traffickers made frequent trips, sometimes twice a week, up and down the West Coast.
Agents found the source of the supply, believed to be brought from Mexico. In March alone, agents seized drugs from the 2 drug rings with a street value of more than $3 million, but the groups trafficked even after.
We even heard one of the suspects on a wiretap arranging drug deals from a Costco.
The joint operation taking down 11 of the 14 involved, some who were previously deported and were in the country illegally, others U.S. citizens. Officers seized 7 kilos of cocaine, more than 20 pounds of meth, and roughly 80,000 suspected deadly fentanyl pills, and more than $350,000 in cash just last week.
That's enough fentanyl to kill everyone in Seattle twice.
The cleanup comes as Seattle city leaders have pledged to clean up the neighborhood through their new ambassador program, welcoming visitors while making the neighborhood safer. Chief Sean Barnes says this isn't over.
Round 3, round 4, you know, the reward for doing good work in policing is you get to do it all over again.
For the Spotlight, I'm Alejandra Guzman.
3 suspects in this drug ring are still at large. I reached out to the DEA and offered to feature them and ask for your tips to help them. As soon as I hear back, I'll share those photos. June is recognized as PTSD Awareness Month. It's a condition that impacts so many of our first responders. The Spotlight's Frankie Thompson shows us how the Tukwila Police Department is using this month to focus on the issue.
About 30% of first responders develop mental health conditions like depression or post-traumatic stress disorder, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness.
There's just too many first responders right now that are not seeking help. And it's sad that they're just sitting and not getting the help they need.
Robert Cubby was once one of them. In a candid sit-down with NAMI, the retired Jersey City police captain explained the symptoms he experienced before seeking help for his PTSD.
In one instance, I felt like they call it sleep paralysis, that someone was laying on my chest and I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't stop them. And that was terrifying. That was absolutely unbelievably horrifying.
NAMI reports most first responders don't get the help they need due to concern for personal and professional consequences. But at the Tukwila Police Department, officials are working to break that stigma to support their officers. With June recognized as PTSD Awareness Month, TPD says officers will wear this patch all month long, highlighting the issue and receive education from the department's Officer Wellness Program. They'll learn about signs of PTSD, promote early intervention, and provide resources for impacted officers. Law enforcement officers are at a high risk of experiencing traumatic events on a regular basis that can lead to PTSD. Events like the death investigation of 3 young sisters from Wenatchee, allegedly murdered by their father. The girls' bodies found at the Rock Island campground near Leavenworth. In recognizing this Awareness Month, Tukwila PD wrote a statement saying, in part, PTSD impacts everyone different. For officers with children, handling traumatic incidents involving kids can lead to PTSD. Emotionally impactful incidents involving death investigations or other emotionally charged events can also trigger PTSD. But there is help out there. For Cubby, it was contacting NAMI about his traumatic memories on the force.
It's the emotions that are involved and attached to those memories that we can do something about.
And Tukwila PD is doing something this month and every month with one goal, saying by empowering law enforcement officers to recognize the symptoms, intervene early, and seek help, we can help curb and treat the impact of these traumatic events as soon as possible before they become too great a weight and a burden to bear.
For the Spotlight, I'm Frankie Thompson.
A new class of drug dogs are turning the tassel and wagging their tails in Tumwater. 6 dogs just graduated from the Department of Corrections Drug Sniffing Canine Academy. The first class graduated from the program this year. And since they made a number of high-profile busts, just last month, the K-9 team caught a visitor at the state penitentiary in Walla Walla carrying $150,000 of illegal drugs. The new graduates are heading to several departments, including King County Corrections. These dogs are recruited from humane societies and rescues. The training system is based on toy rewards, so they look for dogs that are really like toys. Tonight, a spotlight warning: do not fall victim to the bail bond scam. Bail bonds companies in King and Pierce County say they've been getting tons of calls recently from people who got scammed out of thousands of dollars. Here's Pierce County Sheriff Deputy Carly Capetto to explain how the scam works.
This is a friendly reminder that if you get a phone call from someone pretending to be from Pierce County and they say you can pay your loved one's bond through an app and they send you a text message for money, don't do it. This is the latest and greatest scam where they're taking advantage of your money and your situation. Wait. You weren't supposed to leave me here. Hey, come back. It was only for the movie.
The sheriff's office says they will never call or text you to ask for money. As for Deputy Capetto, no worries. She was eventually let out of that cell. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight on The Spotlight. Until next week, I'm David Rose. Please stay safe.